Iran-Turkey spat was an interesting one. There was the Iranian ambassador to Iraq did an interview with a Kurdistani television channel, and in that interview he condemned Turkish military movements in the northern Iraq because he said that it violates Iraqi sovereignty and Turkey should respect that. Then the Turkish ambassador in Iraq tweeted that Iran is the last country that should talk about Iraq's sovereignty. I think referring to the fact that Iranian troops are there and Iran has a lot of interest there, businesses, blah, blah, blah. So does Turkey, by the way. But I guess Iran could argue that we are invited, technically. Turkey isn't. But then it kind of escalated to an extent. Turkish newspapers accused Iran of supporting PKK, which is a separatist or at least a Kurdish rights advocate group or a separatist group, depending if you listen to Turkish sources or Kurdish sources. It's
pretty much Turkey's number one enemy, right?
Turkish number one terrorist enemy. They consider them a terrorist group and a separatist group. They accused Iran of supporting them, and they said I forget the name, Hayat or something. One of the biggest Turkish newspapers claimed that there are 500 PKK fighters and leaders within Iran. Iran supports them materially, and then Iran denied these allegations and claimed that Turkey is the one who supports Islamist terrorists and all that, and both countries called their respective ambassadors to the office of the foreign secretary. So tensions got really high there, and it was interesting because Turkey and Iran during the last few years seem to have been on the same page on most issues. But this again showed that while they may agree on certain issues short term, long term strategically Iran and Turkey are rivals. In Iraq, in Nagorno-Karabakh, Azerbaijan, in all these things, as they've been rivals for many years. So that tension sort of picked through again a bit. That was quite interesting. Regarding Middle East, you also had the recent report.
Sorry, can I just say one thing about the Kurds? I just want to say that Turkey's sensitivity on the Kurds and the Kurdish issue is insane. This is just like one story I heard secondhand, but when I was at the UN, they actually found, like, Turkey saw that there were some UN staff which were in some part of Iraq, and they were in a restaurant having dinner, and there was some kind of Kurdish flag in the background somewhere. They didn't even know, and that was enough for, Turkey to get all, like, involved and trying to, bring some kind of punishment for these staff employees that were just in a restaurant and they had no idea.
Yeah, Turkey is very... I mean, to be fair, separatist movements everywhere in the world are taken super seriously. But, I do think that if further development of Kurdish regions are needed if they want to reduce tensions and reduce terrorist activities. So far to be fair, Erdogan has been much better than the military dictator and the nationalistic leaders before him who would just massacre Kurds. But, the last few years tensions have ramped up, perhaps to do with the fact that Kurds have sort of reached semi-autonomous status both in Iraq and in Syria. So,
Well, it really ramped up in that or like even during post-ISIS fight, so like 2-3 years ago, really.
Because Syria disintegrated and Kurdish regions became independent, and now there was no central authority, and they could much easier support separatist Kurds in Turkey. So, and it's important to point out that, how do I say this? Kurds in Iraq, Syria, and Turkey have far more in common with each other. Although there are so many differences, so much fragmentation in terms of tribal makeup of these countries. But Kurds, for example, in Iran, a lot of them are Shia or that type of thing. But Kurds in Syria and Turkey, for example, they are very closer to each other. So obviously that makes Turkey worried about separatism and all that.